All right, welcome to Friday Football Fever OT. Bret Beherns with Craig Choate. Extended highlights, some more analysis, and interviews from that Mount Zion Effingham game are all ahead, Craig. And it felt like football tonight. Yep. Week 8, conference championships up for grabs. Playoffs right around the corner. It's a fun time for high school football fans.
Yeah, last week we got the first taste of the cold fall-like weather, continuing this week. In a couple of weeks, next week's our last Friday night. Crazy. And then they move to Saturdays, and it really starts going, and every year it flies by, but this year seems like it's gone a little bit faster. At least,
or we're just older.
Or we're getting older, yeah.
That's probably more like it. But the playoffs are right around the corner. I was talking with Dick Duvall tonight at SJO, trying to firm up our playoff preview show time to tape that. We've got Dick and Stan on that as well. They offer all that great analysis, and they've been there and done it, and so it's great to have them. But a couple teams got to actually win the next 2 games, or at least win one to get to that playoff point, and that's where Danville is at tonight. They need one more win to become playoff eligible. The Vikings playing at Peoria Richwoods. And Devin Miles has been really good all year. You featured him earlier this season. He takes the little pitch here, and this is what he can do. Yeah. Just a junior, but he is making all kinds of moves. To think that he's got one more year in high school football, Craig, is really crazy because he is very, very good. And that's all Danville needed behind the back of Devin Miles tonight. 27-10 as Danville picks up the win. So they're now 5-3 on the season. Would sure like to get that next win to get to 6 to guarantee a spot, but at least they're in with 5, and in the Big 12, I think that's probably going to be good enough to get the playoff points there tonight. So Danville with a 27-10. I don't remember. Off the top of my head.
When I featured Devin, though, he said growing up it was all about basketball. Can you imagine if? I mean, I'm sure he's still a good basketball player, but could you imagine if he just didn't play football? Like what we would be missing out on.
Yeah, man, he's talented. That's for sure.
He's fun to watch.
And a tough Big 12. Always, no matter playing on the road, especially at a Richwoods team. So a good 17-point win for them. But all eyes tonight, at least for us, and I know a lot of high school football fans, on the Apollo Conference Championship between Mount Zion and Effingham. And we had talked during the show that this is really what everyone was hoping for all year long. And it really did come down to this as both teams come in with 7-0. Ashton Summers to Drew London, 60 yards all the way for the touchdown, just one of several big plays. And the Braves defense holding up strong. Sage Davis comes around for the sack, stopping any chance for the Hearts to convert on that drive. Davis, our player of the week for a good reason. Here he goes, breaking more tackles on his way to the end zone. He doesn't look like a running back out there because he's so big. He's tall, he's thick, he's able to just elude defenders. He's got the turn on jets as well. Then Effingham with a last-ditch effort to get on the board before halftime. Braden Hiley comes down with the pick here, and Mount Zion looks like it would just roll in this one, Craig. But the Hearts do come back and make this one interesting after halftime. Nathan Shackelford looks for his man but decides to do it himself. Great diving effort for the end zone and the pylon there to get them on the board. They do put up some points. 37-23 ends up being the finals, but the Braves defense cannot be stopped with Davis. Is he a better linebacker than he is a tailback? I don't know. It's possible. He's really, really good at both. And the Mount Zion Braves come up with a big-time win. And they'd really been building for this for a couple of years.
They have.
I know you talked to them earlier this week.
I talked to them on Tuesday, and they said they missed the playoffs 2 years ago. They went 5-4, so they qualified. They were one of those teams that qualified but didn't get the playoff points, and they said that really hurt them because they knew that they were better than that. And then last year, they won Week 9 to get that 6th win to guarantee their spot. So they've been building towards this. A lot of the seniors now played on both of those teams, so they knew what they had. I think we had some sound.
Here's some sound from after the game
Patrick Etherton.
From Marley after this game.
Defensively, I thought we played really well. We ran around. We did a good job limiting the Duncan kid. And then the quarterback, Shackelford, we kind of kept him in check for most of it. And then he got a little bit loose in the third, fourth quarter there. But defensively, I thought we did a nice job. Offensively, our kids made some big plays. And, I don't, without looking at the stats, I think Sage had, over 200 yards and had a heck of a football game. He's a heck of a football player. So for us, it was just the ability to make plays.
We're talking a lot about Mount Zion tonight, but Effingham.
Don't take anything away from them.
Yeah, nothing against Effingham. They had that really good year 2 years ago. So the year Mount Zion missed the playoffs, Effingham was 8-1, I think, in the regular season. Really good. Terrence Hill, the running back.
Yeah, he was very, very good.
And every year it seems like, all right, Effingham's lost their guys, but they keep getting more. And Bret Hefner does a really good job down at Effingham. We're trying to figure out here where
779 is their enrollment. So
Mount
Travis
Zion,
here had asked us are they going to be 5 or 4?
Yeah.
Now that's pretty close. I think they're going to be 4 still, and really the playoff points all depend, or the classes and the pairings all depend on the teams at the top. So they start at 8A and just work their way down.
Yeah.
But I've always known them as a 4A team.
I thought they were 5 last year.
Let's take a look here, Craig. Effingham was 9-3 last year, by the way. They've been a really, really good program as well. They were 5A last year. Yep, at 6-4.
Yeah,
Missed it
5A.
At 5-4 2 years ago. They were 4A in 2016.
Yeah, they're going to be right there. So
that's close, man.
Yeah.
That was. If I'm looking, okay, they've only been 5A a couple of times. The last time I have that was 2002, before last year, that they were 5A. If they're in 4A, man, that's a lot of fun. Can you imagine a Rochester Mount Zion like quarterfinal or semifinal? That looks like a fun matchup there.
Yeah, anytime you're in 4, you're like, oh, we'd rather be 4 than 5. But then you think, oh, Rochester's 4. We might not want to be 4.
And in the South, Mount Zion's going to be in the South half of that bracket.
Yeah.
But I think you'd rather take your chances being in 4A than 5A.
Sure.
And maybe facing a Glenwood in the second round or something like that.
Glenwood's really good.
Yeah, they are a state title contender. All right, you saw PBL Watsika tonight in the Sangamon Valley. PBL still fighting for that. Clifton.
Yeah, a couple 5-2 teams. So winner gets their 6th win and gets that guaranteed lock into the playoffs, and a conference title still up for grabs there. PBL's first drive. This might be their first play from scrimmage. This is Hunter Anderson, and we seem to get a highlight from him every week, and here he is just making defenders look silly before he's finally brought down. And that led to this Gunner Belts keeper. When Hunter Anderson does what he does, you can just pull it as a quarterback and walk into the end zone here. It was 8-0 Panthers after the 2-point conversion. And then I said this during the news, my favorite play of the night, Connor Curry looks like he stopped about the 3, but his offensive linemen just pick him up and walk him into the end zone to make it 8-7 PBL lead. And then here's that Anderson kid again, right up the middle, and just turns on the Jets. 61 yards, he is gone for the score. That offense in PBL, they have some weapons. They're fun to watch. Watsika didn't give up in the first half, though. Drew Wittenborn back to pass. There's some pressure, so he escapes the pocket and finds Maddox Rigsby. Looks like he's going to get pushed out of bounds. One defender slides by, then he cuts back, and he goes into the end zone. So it was a 1-point game when I left this one in the second quarter, but PBL scores the next, I don't do math, whatever it is to get to 43. 43-15, PBL goes on to win this one big. So after we leave,
Kevin over here does math. We were joking with him earlier because he's a scientist. He was trying to ask us something.
Couldn't spell DeKalb.
DeKalb. I didn't know if the E was capital.
How do you spell DeKalb, Kevin? I don't know. He said, I don't know. We don't do math, so. Yeah, we do have a poll up here.
I got it.
Where do you
we have a
prefer the
poll.
state
Where do you prefer the
finals?
state finals? They're coming up in about a month, 6 weeks?
Yeah, about
6 weeks.
About 6 weeks.
Yeah, so go vote for our poll. But yeah, PBL is 6-2 now. I think Clifton's going to win that conference, though. Yeah, Clifton's in control of the Sangamon Valley, but PBL, a great year in PBL, first year for Josh Pritchard up there with the Panthers.
Back in the playoffs once again.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the CIC, right? Tuscola, Shelton. No, let's go to St. Joe and IPC. St. Joe looking for its 5th win to qualify for the playoffs. They got to beat Olympia tonight. They got to win next week against Monticello to secure themselves a spot. First drive of the third quarter. They're going on the ground here, getting some chunk yards. And then Creighton Burnett, a great pitcher, sophomore pitcher last year, is the quarterback for the Spartans this year. And he's going to set up a Chance Izzard touchdown catch here to make it 27-7, as it really looked like that St. Joe was going to roll in this one. The defense stepping up nice as well for the Spartans. And Olympia didn't go away. This was to start the second half, a big third down conversion here to pick up and continue that drive. And Olympia goes on to score here on this drive as well before the Spartans defense stops them a couple more plays here. But Olympia putting up a fight, not going to matter in the end, though, as St. Joe goes on to win 41-21. So the defense really steps up at the end for St. Joseph Ogden, and they have to play Monticello now, who a couple of years ago, that Monticello team kept SJO out of the playoffs. Now they get a chance to play again in Week 9, and Monticello got crushed tonight at Prairie Central.
Yeah.
And so that might be an interesting matchup next week. You would think that St. Joe would have enough playoff points to get in, but you really don't want to be in that position where you're guessing next Saturday night.
Yeah, so they are 5-4, 5-3?
5-3 now is St. Joe.
Monticello is same?
I think Monticello has they might be 5-3, Craig. Yeah,
well.
I think you're right.
This is why those schools go to try and get in those closed conferences. Because playoff if you're in a closed conference with 10 teams and your playoff, you'll be in with your playoff points. Because every week you're getting 5 playoff points.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's why these teams are going closed conferences. So if you get to 5 wins in the IPC, you should get in the playoffs.
Yes, but there's some bottom feeder IPC teams as well that could make it tough there. And I'm checking here real quick by this smartphone technology that we all have, right? They're both 5-3.
5-3.
Man, that's an interesting game next week.
One of them is in for sure. The other one's gonna have to wait.
The other one's gonna sweat, and they're both at 30 playoff points. St. Joseph Ogden 31.
We have the playoff show, right?
Yeah,
the playoff parent show.
Yep, that's next Saturday back on WCIA or WCIX, but our sister station. Yeah. It was on Comcast last year. You couldn't watch it on local, and so it's on our air next Saturday night.
8
o'clock start for that.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to move to the CIC now, and 2 teams that hanging in the conference title. They're not going to win the conference title because Central A&M is going to win the conference title. But Tuscola and Shelbyville, Rams can become playoff eligible with the win over the Warriors. Tuscola has the ball on the goal line. Quarterback Logan Tabling calls his own number. That is 1 to take it in for 6. Then the Rams with the ball now. Kentrell Beck to pass. Finds Braden Lynch. All a one-handed grab there through his teammates, and that puts the Rams into scoring range. Next play, Beck back to pass again. This time it's Rope Hatfield. Comes down with the touchdown grab. That tied the game up at 28. Shelbyville had a bit of a down year last year, but they're back with Kentrell Beck. And it wasn't tied for long, though. Tabling rolls out, finds Brown edge. He is going to score. Tuscola, it's a 6-point game, but Tuscola hangs on for the win, 54-48. So 6 wins for Tuscola now. They are firmly into the playoffs. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, not a big surprise there at all. But how about Shelbyville putting up 48? That's the surprise for me there in that one, and credit to them. Coach Duckett's got his troops riling again, like you said, after a down year last season.
Beck was hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
Kentrell Beck didn't play last year, so that is a big reason.
He's going to be a college football player. Yeah, no doubt about that. He is electric. All right, you weren't at this game. But we had AO tonight, who you said hasn't lost since week 1 Arcola. And I remember that first week, we're like, man, is AO any good, or is Arcola really good, or is it a matter of both? Because I think it can be both, right? Arcola, I think, was really, really good.
They looked really good.
They were high. A close loss to Tuscola, then they lost to Cumberland, I believe. And so we had questions about Arcola, and then Argenta's gone on this big run as well. And so, they're set up really well here after a good night tonight. Yeah,
for sure. Let's get to those highlights now. In Argenta, beautiful turf field there in Argenta, one of my favorite facilities in the area. Second quarter, it's Josh Williams handing to Michaela Stanley, tucking it in that right hand, and he scores to make it 28-20. Then third quarter action. It worked once. The Williams this is a drop back to pass. Gets pressured, goes nowhere. This is the ALH sack here for the Knights. Doesn't deter Argenta, though. Very next play. This is the handoff I was talking about. Stanley gets to the edge sideline with a couple stiff arms. 82 yards in the blink of an eye. Dude, so fast. 35-20. The Bombers were on top. Then Brady Borntrager hands to Ben Carroll with some evasive maneuvers, gets some nice chunk of yardage there, and then several plays later, Borntrager passes to Jamison Rock in the end zone for the score. A nice catch there by Rock, and fights his way in. It was a close one, but Argenta is your winner, 35-27. I tell you what, I saw ALH last week, and then seeing this score tonight, they're good. They are so improved.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Ryan Jefferson has his team moving in the right direction. They do fall tonight, so they are now 5-3. Yeah. So they should, like another close conference, they should feel like they're doing okay. They're at 30 playoff points, so that puts them in a pretty good position. Yeah. Still a little bit shaky heading into next week's game.
I did look last
with
year.
Villa
I think
Grove
the
Heritage.
cutoff was 38 or 39.
So that's where it's going to be a little tough.
It's going to be tough. Some years it's 36. Some years it's 39. You never know. So you need to get as many as you can. Get as many wins as you can.
ALH gets a home game with Villa Grove Heritage next week.
Okay.
And Villa Grove, I believe, won tonight as well. I don't remember that score for final, but Villa Grove came in at tonight 4-3. So a lot of these battles next week should be really interesting as you have teams that are trying to get to that 6th spot, teams that are trying to get to 5 and know that their playoff points are probably pretty good, but they got to get to 5.
Yeah.
And that's what's tough there as well, which makes week 9 a lot of fun. Then you got other teams like Mount Zion that are like, yeah, let's just make it 9-0.
Yeah, let's make it 9-0. We got a lot of people asking about scores. We're going to have it all on our website.
Yeah, we'll have all those
real
up
shortly. We'll have all the
coming
scores. What's our poll, Kevin? We asked, where do you prefer the state tournament? 93% now. Champaign, surprise.
I mean, not a huge
I kind of like
surprise.
it in DeKalb.
I do too.
I really do. It's a better atmosphere.
Nothing against Memorial Stadium, but it's just so big.
Yeah.
When you go up to Northern Illinois, it's a lot smaller. The fans feel like there's a bigger presence there.
The media room's right off the field. You don't have to go.
I mean,
8 flights.
That helps. It's all about us, right?
It's all about us.
All right. Hey, that's going to do it for Friday Football Fever OT. Thanks for staying up late with us, watching on our digital channels. It's been fun. We got one more of these, Craig. That's it. Then we'll figure out if we're going to do it for basketball.
We'll see. We'll let you know.
Week 9 next week. Can't wait for it. We'll see you then. Good night.